Welcome to the final lesson of the social media app. We're going to be going through all the error messages and misspellings and all the stuff I was doing when I was typing. So let's have some fun. It says here we're going to start off with config. It looks like I didn't pass the props correctly, so I'll just go and type that in. I'm going to go check a few more of them. There we go. Common error not to pass functions and values, things like that. Objects can sometimes have issues with that too. Okay, let's go to the network. And it looks like we have an issue with React fragment. It looks like I didn't put the period between the two words, so it doesn't know what that means, that tag. Okay, let's head over to theme list. And it's spelled wrong, missing an S. So go ahead and put that in there. Config paths. So yeah, I'm going to take that out. So I'm going to make a local folder here, and I'll draw the path to this file, this PHP that's making the call out to get our RSS feeds. And I'm just going to put it here for now. And let's go ahead and figure out what's going on with this value. I'm going to check the validation. And let's check out what it's saying from the... What it's telling me is it doesn't know where to go. No results, so this is going to be a larger problem. And let's bet that the banner or the database is not connected. That would be a problem. Let's go ahead and put in our host, user, database, and password. I'm just using localhost, so you can set up any IP address you want to here. It doesn't have to be local. Once again, the only thing that has to be in a Linux environment is that PHP file. The rest of this can be anywhere you want, so that PHP file can be anywhere. Alright, let's log in. Log in successful. Look at all these errors we've got, everybody. There's misspellings everywhere, and we're going to find them all. Just checking them all out. All my network, feeds, messages, everything's a wreck. So let's make sure that these things match. I think it says add message here and post message in the other one. Obviously that's not going to work. So change the path to say post. And QB and DB, or DQ, I think is what I've put in 1,000 places throughout all my API endpoints. So you'll see me go back and change that to DB. Like I said, misspellings are typical, especially if you copy and paste from one thing to the next and you have a misspelling in it. So I'm just going to change them all right here. There we go. We'll find more on other pages. That's a lot of the problems. There we go. Okay, so my icons and my messages are working now. And it looks like the network is not getting my list yet. My feed list is not coming in, and I can see right away that we've got some misspellings. The DQ is definitely a misspelling for all the instead of DB. Anyway, so our front end we need to consolidate a few things. So let's take that path to the social media outlet, or where we're getting our RSS feed, and we'll put all of our links in a repository called config, or in a folder called config within our components folder. And that will have like all of our outsourced, like it'll be like where we can get our endpoints listed. So if I have multiple endpoints, they'll all be listed on this file. And so this fetch will ultimately just be linked to our config paths. And you'll see what I'm going to do here in a minute. And this way, if you need to change something, all your paths that you're firing off can be in one spot. And here you are. Let's go ahead and put that in there. So the path to the RSS feed will be located here. And you can change this based on where your RSS PHP file is. If it's somewhere not on the server, then write that in. And let's go ahead and write that path. And we'll replace it over here. There we go. It looks like so far just some minor issues. And this is the address we're going to send it to. More spelling mistakes. These are going to be most of my errors. See, the DQ is written everywhere again. Let's fix that. Let's check our network to see what is and what is not working. Okay, we're getting a lot more fixed now. As you can see, the messages, they're all coming in correctly now. So let's see what our other issues are. It says pretty normal stuff with the keys. Looks like I didn't close off that class there. And so let's go ahead and read this from the git remove list. Alright, let's go ahead and see if that's working. There's the data we're getting thus far, which is not the data we want. So we need to fix this. Okay, if the remove list has an index of comma, that means if it's only, and it doesn't equal -1. Okay, so we're checking to see how long the list is. So if there is a comma, that means there's more than one, and then from there we will be splitting this. If there's no comma, we will not split the res data remove list. Index of 0. So no reason to split it if it's only one word. Let's go ahead and see. Look, it's rendering out better here. Okay, so it's telling me that I didn't close my SQL comma, or my it's the quotation for my SQL request is off. So none of this is all necessary. Luckily, I just wasted some time here. But that's how it goes. Let's go check my SQL statement, and it'll just fix it. Closing in the ticks is really important. There you go. Very simple fix. So my email is now in quotations, and then when our string is closed with a tick. And here we go. Now the functionality is working. The API is running. And we are receiving RSS feeds from when we select them. Now let's do the indexing for React by putting the key in there like it's saying. It's got, every time you map something, you need to put key in and then count the iteration for the indexing of React. So that's always going to come up if you don't do it. Let's work on the banner and avatar. Default, you're probably better off having something prepared. As opposed to default, we'll just have like a generic image. And as opposed to default, this will look better. And we got to make sure this class name is listed before we name all the classes. Let's see what else we got. Some standard stuff. Still got our promise and the filter feed, just a mess. Doesn't like my profile picture. There we go. They're coming in now. Correct. I can see those in the network. They're getting the images correctly. So let's write in our key here. Now we've got a bunch of CSS we're just going to throw in. Let's get rid of anything we don't need. Let's just go ahead and bring over from our app. These are your standard. These are so self-explanatory. Like we want to have errors and capitalization and certain sizes for our iframe. You know, the avatar needs to be a certain size. Obviously, the card body with the image in it, and if it has a video, max width always 100, so they are full size. This is the size of my logo. Just a few alignment things for our login form. These are things I need to be hidden. And just some more padding, not much. And the messaging, you can kind of self tell what exactly the messaging this is doing. I'm just gonna set up what the icon sizes are, what the whole module size is as well. The checkboxes, obviously, I'm gonna stylize those. So there's really not too much to the messaging. Obviously, this is my mobile drop-down, and just some other specific colors and font sizes. Footer's got a bunch of stuff to it. It needs to be on a z-index of the position fixed at the bottom, so it's going to be above things. That's what index-3 means. Everything else is dash index 1. So let's clear out app CSS and just use index.css instead. Just add what was over there. All right. All right, just some more things that were on there. Avatar and the Jumbotron are all up and to be on the top. We're going to size those and put some borders on them. Standard pointer in case it's not a button or a link. Add that on there. And this is our like and button, the heart. And this is the size of our YouTube. We need to have it specifically width 100 and height at min height at 250. And then we also do some stylings for mobile. Basically, the media of size of 768 is technically mobile for us. So we got a couple of things we want to write in there. 767. There we go. And then in case the mobile is at 992, we can do a couple other different things too, depending on the size of the phone. Most of Bootstrap takes care of all that for us. This is just a couple random things. Like I don't want the link to, since it doesn't have a break, it overflows on that list item group, and now it doesn't. So it's just a little fix. All right, let's clean this up a little bit more. Looks like that these are all working so far. And these need a little bit of work. It's camel case. That's the problem. It needs to be capital I. That should work. Yep, there they go. Just a little more tidying up, and that thing's almost finished. Obviously, the checkboxes are a little bit of a mess. Checkboxes is something I found off the internet. It's about, I don't remember, it's a few lines of code or CSS to get it fixed. Oh, and hide is spelled wrong too. There we go. Yeah, that looks more like it. And that looks to be working. Yeah, the banner's just a few fixes. It's actually not a big deal at all. Just needed to be written correctly. There it is. All right, let's go check the theme. And it's not changing. Let's go check the network. Okay, so it's sending it out with a payload, but it's not getting there. Let's play around here a little bit. I don't know why it would be on the client side. It looks like the client side was working. There we go. Once again, it was not the client side, it was the server side. And we had to have a apostrophe closed. There we go. Now the theme works. I can change it to whatever theme I want. So you just click your username with the little cog next to it will open and close the user panel, in case you haven't noticed. So let's go ahead and make this messaging look a little nicer. The button group is going to help those buttons that were kind of slammed over to the left. Now it looks normal. Yeah. Let's see here. Doesn't seem to be working yet. So let's go try out and see what happened. I need to move this syntax to move the apostrophe to the end after check, FA check circle. It was closing too fast and it was breaking it. Alright, so that's working. So let's run another test. Okay, so this now is working. The remove list, I can choose stuff and take them out. Let's say if I don't want that in there, word Photoshop, it removes the story of anything that has the word Photoshop in it. It just adds a hide to it. So it's still there, as you can see through the panel. It's just hidden. Then I can take it back and show it again. Well, that's good. That's working. There we go. Seems to be working good. Empty data just means the default when nothing's there. Looks like I've got that spelled wrong. Easy enough. Spell it correctly. So let's just make sure the new user works. Looks like we got a internal error. So we passed everything and it didn't work out. It doesn't have a default value. So it's telling me my avatar doesn't have a default value. So I'm just going to type it in. So if there is no value, I just type it in. Now it'll have one. If it doesn't have anything at all, it'll just add it. It's added in the database. So when someone signs up, of course they're not gonna have an avatar or a banner. So we have to have something just kind of there to get them started, and then they just change it. There we go. And let's go ahead and work on the add feed. See how it's busted here? It's not adding anything. Says that it can't read ID. There it is. It's working on this side. It's just not responding. And it says here we've got an issue in our server side. That goes email, not user email. And this ID needs to be more characters. Okay, that'll work now. There we go. So we can add a feed right there. We just added the AZ Central. Looks good. So the add a feed is working. Sure is. And now we can toggle between different feeds, different RSS feeds. It doesn't look like Yahoo's handing up too much other than the title. They used to hand out more. So let's try to delete it and see what happens. So it's not working. Let's go fix the delete. So if I don't like a RSS feed in my network, let's try to delete it. And give me a 500. So it says params is not defined. That's a server-side issue. So params is what I'm trying to send it on the feed API. Or within the network, here we go. So we sent them that server side, or the client side sent them what was correct. We just didn't do this correctly. So it's rec params. And that'll work. There we go. Let's try to delete it now. Now we got it deleted. Affected rows 1, all good. So let's fix the user panel. It's out of whack. See, all this was where the user is supposed to be. There we go. Let's go ahead and get it into color. If it's all gray, that means it's not working. It needs to be on the same line as the return. Let's go back to the banner. You see how it's kind of out of whack. We're going to fix this too. Let's make sure it works. So let's change the banner. Banner just got updated to red. It's a red one now. So let's move this. It's not an outline. You can't even see the buttons anymore. So let's move this down a little bit, just by the margin offerings that Bootstrap has given us. Let's put a label in this as well, so it matches the others. And we'll be able to see what it says on the buttons, because you couldn't see it very well because they were outline forms. So it'll look a lot nicer now when it's even with the rest of the items in the footer panel. There, you see how it's even now to the items on the left. There we go, and we're back to our original banner. Alright, let's go check out the avatar. Okay, avatar's working. Good. Yep, everything's working. And affected rows is 1. That means it worked. And let's go ahead and test the adding a friend to the network. There's me. As you can see, for continuity, I actually fixed the footer in the future, so I've moved that around. It's not fixed now, but you just saw me fix it, so strangely enough, it gets fixed in the future, and I put that film in here. Let's test the messenger. Looks like that's good. And yep, logged in and let's send that back. So let's go ahead and play around a little bit. Let's just send these messages. I've logged in as 2 different people. So we got Pete on the left and Aaron on the right. There we go. We're just messaging each other. We can send something back. There we go. There it is. Just a few more updates. I'm going to move these around a little bit. And spell everything correctly. And then we don't want to use the email from the we always want to keep the email up here. We don't use it in the local storage. That's one last thing. So we don't want to save anything like that we can use for a callback or a call out. Don't use the email if it's saved in local storage. Use the one that you're using in the app, because someone could change that and then get different data. This looks like everything seems to be running. Themes are changing correctly. Yep. Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it.